Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We are finishing the year of 1983 in the next little while, probably about 6 or 7 episodes to go. And we are on the 19th of November in 1983. This is the last show that is not a review show. I'm just going to basically do a 2 or 3 minute update on the 26th of November because it literally is all highlight clips. But this show itself does have notable things in it. First, the finish of David Von Erich and Kamala. Literally, probably about a 45-second clip. The clip is, I assume, to denote the leaving of the territory of Kamala. As I cannot imagine him coming back from being put out to the iron claw of David Von Erich. I assume this was his last television appearance. Obviously, Skandar Akbar very upset by this. Next, we see Kerry Von Erich warning Michael Hayes about them meeting in the cage at Star Wars. He says this is where it's all going to end. This is where he can get rid of the rest of the Freebirds being interfering in his interaction with Michael Hayes. He says that this is where he's going to get his retribution, and that is the promo there. Kerry a little repetitive in the promo, but it is what it is. They do show the clip back to Michael Hayes and Ric Flair and Kerry Von Erich in the cage from Christmas night about a year ago, 11 months ago. Hayes says in his own promo that he is going to be as bad as he wants to be. He doesn't plan to leave Texas. He'll only leave on his own accord, and that no one's going to stop him or tell him what to do, but that once Kerry gets in the cage with him, things will never be the same. He basically implies that he intends to take over completely. And then we go to some first run content of the program. Tonga John versus Jose Lothario. Tonga John, new to the promotion and having a competitive losing effort on the last program with none other than Iceman King Parsons. There we go. And so he's back to try again with Jose Lothario. Lothario obviously has a significant experience advantage, a significant, I would even say, striker's advantage, as he strikes a little. I don't know that he's always going to strike harder, but I don't know that if I were in Tonga John's relatively new boots, so to speak, that I'd be going heads up with Jose Lothario. So he does, meaning Tonga John, dominate early and use some power moves. Actually slows the match down tempo-wise a little bit more than I expected, as we see him using chin locks and reversals. Not what I'd expect from a guy his size, but obviously still telling a good story. And that's one thing that I think gets lost. There's this misconception, especially in independent wrestling, that all guys with a lot of size and power have to use the size and power at all times, and that's just ridiculous. But lots of guys believe it, and that has permeated the culture of independence just about everywhere. The Lothario does come back with many strong strikes on his opponent, and Lothario goes to the top rope, hits almost, for lack of better terms, a bombs away style move and gets the victory. Super Destroyer number 1 facing off against Iceman King Parsons. We saw number 2 last week or the week before, not too terribly long ago. Super Destroyers have apparently been joined by Skandar Akbar, as he is at ringside for this particular contest. Parsons has been a thorn in the side of the Freebirds, specifically Buddy Roberts, for a while. So interesting to see if, number 1, if Roberts goes with Gordy and Hayes. Number 2, if he does, what do you do with Parsons after he leaves? Bit of a size differential here. Akbar satisfied with his investment, or so it would appear. Slowing the match down is Parsons. Parsons not opposed to grabbing a hold now and then. Leapfrog by the Destroyer and a drop kick right under the chin by his adversary. And again, Parsons has been on a roll his entire run in Texas. Leaping enziguri by the Destroyer that is in the ring with Parsons. So certainly an athletic individual. The Destroyers try to cheat where they can over the back of the official. Destroyer in the ring uses his leverage and power to try to choke out or put to sleep his opponent. It doesn't work the way he plans, but does slow the match down a bit. Parsons comes back to his feet, hits a number of strikes, gets things going the way that he wants to do, flying back, leaping elbow, and a big body slam by the Iceman, and he hits a leg drop, but Destroyer out the back door. Destroyer more competitive than many people would think him to be, especially being a newer talent. So it's obvious they're going to use the Destroyers for a while. Destroyers do the old pull a switch, and right when it looks like Parsons is going to win, he ends up taking the loss because they switched. Then we have the main event of the program. Johnny Mantell and Chris Adams versus Buddy Roberts and Jimmy Garvin. Garvin and Adams obviously still on a collision course. There's an interview there. Garvin says he has everything under control, and the women are under control, and everything's going to go his way, and all these superlative promises that don't think he can back up. But anyway, the match itself is mainly highlighted by Adams and Garvin going at it, although Adams tries to get at Garvin many times before Garvin is willing to get in the ring. The Mantell and Roberts are dealing with each other for the first part of the match anyway, and it is clear that Garvin doesn't want to get in there unless he absolutely has to. Roberts also spends a good bit of time in the ring. Jimmy tags out anytime he feels ill at ease or in any way negatively affected by the goings on of his surroundings, and so Adams and Mantell both are getting things going towards a very skewed perception. And then we see Jimmy Garvin. Garvin finally does come in the ring, but only when Mantell is in there, again avoiding any contact with Adams if he can. That continues almost through the close of the match. Not to say that they don't have any contact, but for fans that were tuning in on this particular week in 1983 to get that contact, not exactly there until the last few minutes of the match. Adams does get a hold of Garvin with about 3 or 4 minutes left in the match and goes to town as a babyface should. Garvin's valet is there to protect him and nothing else, and both ladies break in. The match breaks down into a Donnybrook. No real winner decided here. Post-match, we do see a interview from Chris Adams, and we also see one from David Manning. David Manning saying the women are hard to control, impossible to control. They need special referees, among other things, as both ladies are going into catfight mode over Jimmy Garvin, if you really think about it. Garvin responsible for all this. Fantabulous angle that was done several times throughout wrestling history from here and copied from here, so worth checking out just the outlay of that whole relationship, which they do in a review show next week. Anyway, the ladies have not settled anything to a degree. Adams and Garvin haven't either, but that'll all be handled at Star Wars, I'm sure. But that is the close for this, the 19th of November in 1983 edition of World Class. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.